Hey everybody, welcome to the Summer of Live. Just wanted to chat a little bit today about getting over the fear of going live. So like the jitters, all of that stuff that happens when you're going live. And so I've known this from way back when I used to record wedding videos and all sorts of other videos. You always turned off the red light, because as soon as the red light comes on, people get nervous. As soon as people know that you're recording them, they get super nervous and they don't actually want to talk on camera. They start to stutter. They start to do all sorts of stuff that you can't control. And so back in the day, I would just go ahead and turn the red light off on the camera, because that allowed people to not really know if you were recording, and you could easily just go record and they wouldn't get all jittery and everything like that. So there's similar things that we can do. When I started live streaming, I had the same issues. I was jittery. As soon as I would go live, I would kind of forget what I was talking about. And still, I kind of do to this day. Sometimes I forget about what I'm talking about and get nervous that people are going to see this. So for me, how this works out is I usually can't get my words out. Like if I'm recording something and not even going live, I'm recording things, and if there are people around, or as soon as I hit the record button, I can't get my words out. It's like I forget what I'm saying. And so a lot of times what I have to do is not do it around other people. For me, if I'm talking and there's people around, that's when I get stuttery and I forget my words. So going live for me actually helps that, because I know that I can't hit the stop button and redo it. Once I'm going live, I know that I'm live, and I know that I'm not gonna be able to to do that. I'm not gonna be able to restart because I am live. And so one of the things that I would recommend doing, so if you're using something like Ecamm to stream, you can also, if you hover over the icon there, it allows you to, so if you're hovering over this, you see this large number there that has 4 people watching. That tells me how many people are currently watching the stream, and actually 6 now. So one of the things that I would recommend doing is not look at that. If you don't have your mouse hovered over it, you're not going to see that icon up there. And so that's what I would definitely recommend doing if you're in Ecamm, is not hover over this thing, because you're going to see the amount of people that are watching you live, and you don't want to do that. The other thing is I have a Stream Deck in front of me, so it has a key button, and I may get into this at some point as I'm talking throughout the Summer of Live shows. But one of the things that Ecamm also allows you to do is have that same number on one of the buttons. And to me, I always get nervous when I see that show up there. If there's 7, 10, 20 people live, I know that there's people actually watching me, and so that's where I get nervous. So I would definitely recommend, if you are going to get nervous about what you're saying live, don't show that button, because it can do things for you too. Because if you see it, and let's say there's 10 people, and all of a sudden the next minute there's 3, 2, 1, 0, then you start to think, okay, well, what did I do? Why did people drop off of the stream? Am I not engaging? Am I not worth listening to? And so I tend not to look at that. In fact, I have it on this Stream Deck right now, and I'll see if I can show it to you. Like, I have the number here, and I would recommend if it's something that you're going to get nervous about, definitely don't show it. Don't have it on the stream deck, because then you're going to get nervous. So one of the other things that you can do to not get so nervous is definitely practice what you're going to say. So if you have a script, then if you have a script, it goes scripted, and it sounds scripted sometimes. And so that's sometimes hard to get away from being so scripted on, sounding so scripty. So, but definitely practice what you're saying. And what I would do is if you, sometimes, especially when we're streaming live, we forget that there actually are people out there. And so one of the ways to not get so nervous too is just to think about talking to somebody that because for me, when I'm talking with my wife or my friends or my kids about things that I love, like streaming and podcasting and things like that, I don't ever get super nervous about that. And so I just imagine as I go live that I'm sitting across the table right here from one of my friends or my wife or my kids, and that helps remove some of the jitters, because I know that as much as I'm actually going live and everybody can see it, that it's really just the same thing as a conversation with my friends. So those are a couple of the tips that I have about getting over the live jitters. I would also, when you're first starting to live stream, talk about something that you really, really enjoy. So it may not be super engaging, but just get out there and do it. So what that may mean is just decide for yourself that you're going to go live for 30 days at a time. And that may seem like a lot, but one of the best things that I did is a few years ago, Ecamm had a Vlogmas challenge, essentially going live every 30 days or for 30 days in December. And for me, as I did that helped me, because it made me stop and think, okay, what am I going to go live about? And for Vlogmas, I chose to go live about podcasting. And actually that birthed Podcast Answers, is my side business that I do, where I teach people to podcast, or I help them podcast. I edit their shows. I do, stuff that birthed that whole business for me, because it allowed me to go live 30 days and realize, oh, I can do this. There's enough content for me to talk about for, a podcast every week. And so since going live with Ecamm for 30 days, it got me out there. It got me just talking about things that I love. It got me used to going live, because before I would go live with my co-host for my other podcast, but there I really wasn't talking to the audience like I am talking to you, like the live stream audience. When I was with my other podcast, I was just talking to my co-host, really. So it was like we were in the same room. We were talking the same thing. And so there, it was just like a conversation with my co-host. And when you're sitting in a room alone, like I'm doing right now, you're talking to yourself. So it helps to remember it's just like you're talking with a friend. Don't show the amount of people streaming if you can help it. If you're in some sort of a streaming app that shows the numbers, like Ecamm, then you don't want to necessarily show the numbers, because then you just see that it's dropping or gaining, and how how many people are there watching. So those are my few tips as far as keeping the jitters away from going live. With that, I'll see you next time on the Summer of Live.